So it was for me as a young boy wanting to learn how to pray. I walked by my mother and father's bedroom in my family home in Miami where I grew up. And I saw my mom and my dad every night kneeling beside the bed. And they were praying. And as I grew up from just a wee little boy, I asked them one day what they talked about. And they said they talked about the joy of the day. They said that they talked about the struggles that they faced in life. They said they even talked to God about me and about my sisters. So I listened at an early age as my father prayed at church prayer meetings, as my mother prayed at vacation Bible school with my class. And I wondered how they were able to do that. And then one day, I don't know why, I asked, "Can you teach me to pray?" I don't really remember now, as a 68-year-old man, what they said to me, but I do know that I started at that time a friendship with God that has stayed with me until this very moment. And I learned from them the very first childhood prayer that included, "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take." And I said, "No way! I don't want to die." As a young boy, I was frightened. From then on, I only wanted to pray, "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep." Amen. But fortunately, my older sisters were also frightened by this prayer. And they were 5 and 7 years older than me, and they talked to my mother and my father. And so they changed the prayer to say, "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Guide me safely through the night. Wake me with the morning light. Amen." Ah, that felt good. I could do that one. Now, I'm not sure how that happened and why, but I was back to being comfortable once more with praying. And then I confess that it worked for a little while until I became a youth. And then I let my prayer kind of go quietly away into just a litany of things that I needed to have help on. It was something like a writer, Anne Lamott, who confessed that all of her prayers either were "help me, help me, help me," or "thank you, thank you, thank you." But even then, for me, not everything I discovered that I prayed for was answered. And so my prayer became an occasional thing. I remember when I was 16, I remember my grandfather had come to live in our home. And my grandfather was dying, and I did not want to see him suffer. And so I prayed for God to release him from pain. And it didn't seem to work, no matter how hard I prayed. Then I was in college, and I went to my chaplain at Maryville College, and I asked him, "Chaplain Campbell, can you teach me to pray?" And he gave me a copy of a book by Harry Emerson Fosdick called "The Meaning of Prayer," and I restarted my journey once more. Well, since then, I've had my stops and starts until I finally have come to a place that I realized that in prayer I was doing most of the talking, sort of dumping my laundry list on God. And then I would walk away before I felt the tap on his shoulder that was inviting me to be quiet and to listen. And so now I have discovered, as I did this morning in my prayer, when I came to my prayer before I knew I was coming here, I got up quietly this morning. I listened to some music to quiet my soul. And in the silence, total silence, I listened for God to speak to me. Now I find it ironic that I am a spiritual companion to people today, and one of the threads that they have when they come and see me is they're asking the same question. They want to learn how to pray. And suddenly, this one who has struggled with prayer now becomes the teacher. That's exactly what I think we see happening in this story that we just read from Luke.